We're here in Covington, Kentucky, checking out a 4-unit that one of my friends doesn't want to manage anymore, doesn't want to mess with. It's a tired landlord, and I'm going to take a look at one of the units to see what's going on inside. I'm going to show you how I force appreciation and look at it through my lens on how to raise value and pick up these deals. Everything down in Covington is just so different than Cincinnati. Just like everything is like shotgun style.
You got a lot of German and Netherlands inspired architecture here. So if you've ever been like to the Netherlands, you've ever been to like the Amsterdam or Germany, something like that, everything's like tall and narrow and long.
Yeah.
And when a lot of those folks migrated over here, they brought that architecture with them. And so you see a lot of that inspired architecture in this region. And they're trying to cram so much stuff into spaces.
Yeah.
And then you always be a small calls. You know why? Because your walls are too small?
No.
So when these were built years ago, your property taxes were assessed on the size of your closets.
Really?
So when you get these older buildings, you always see small bugs.
Wow, that's funny. That's awesome. What I care about is what it can be used for. Because like Jesse was saying, this is how they used to build it, right? Just because they used to do something one way doesn't mean that we have to keep doing it that same way. So right now I'm looking at how can I force the appreciation? How can I increase the value? Because I'm definitely gonna update this because it's definitely gonna need a new kitchen and bathroom, and we'll go look at everything. So right now we'd say this is probably set up as a bedroom with a balcony. And then we come over here, living room, and then we have a kitchen and bathroom. I would take this kitchen, Jesse, and I would move it right in here. So then that could be like a real bedroom.
That's why you're the expert.
Maybe, but also that's why I'm broke and I just make money every 5 years when I can finally get value out of stuff. But then, so then this could be the living room, the water heater possibly into the basement. This right here would have to be the entrance into the bathroom right here. And then I'd have to figure out, what is this in here, I wonder? That sounds like brick probably. And then bathroom would be tub, go across the back, vanity, and then toilet. What is this, 5? Is this 6?
7.
Yeah, so 7 by 5, you can do is a perfect bathroom size. You can do anything.
That's what it is.
Yeah, that's perfect. And you can do the door right here, boom. All right.
I do have some estimates for the roof, the painting of the exterior, and the windows. Like for you get your own bathroom.
So that's the thing is like, I probably wouldn't do the windows on the first.
You don't have to, but with the fresh paint job and the condensation in the window.
Oh yeah, you can see it.
You might as well do it at once.
I just want, yeah, because like my first thought was when we were on our way down here was like, can I make these 2 bedrooms? They're probably a little too tight for 2 bedrooms.
When you get these older buildings like this, like all the plumbing is in the back of these buildings because when they were originally built 100 years ago, they didn't have indoor plumbing. So if you look where the break stops and the siding starts, and the siding starts is where the kitchens and the baths are,
yeah,
because the plumbing was built in and framed on after the fact. It was easier to slap on the back of the property. So when you go to a lot of these old shotgun style houses, and you're like, why is it kitchen in the back?
Yeah.
And why is it brick and why is it framed? Because it was more cost effective. Well, these were built because they probably now have 2 notes, right? It was probably a single family house. It was all brick at one time. And then whatever years later, they said, hey, we're going to frame this out and add plumbing and put bathrooms in it and call it a day. And that's what they probably did when they converted it to a 4-unit.
Yeah. This is worth saving. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, this is 1, 2, 3, 4. These are 5 cabinets. And I'm going to change the layout and figure each of these cabinets are going to cost on average about $300 for a cabinet. And then I'll pay my guy $50 to install them per cabinet, per piece. But out here, it's like for me to do, I'll do sink base, 1 cabinet, dishwasher, and then fridge, stove. I'll probably have 8 cabinets and then pieces like toket counts as a piece, my filler counts as a piece, dishwasher panel counts as a piece. And each piece I pay $50. So you figure about 12 pieces times $50, $600 in labor. And how long will it take somebody to do a kitchen like that? Probably 6 hours. So it probably doesn't have forced air, does it? It can't, right?
No, it's electric baseboard heat.
So, okay.
It's electric baseboard.
That's not a big deal. Let's throw Dylan, what would we pay for mini splits in here?
For this, I would just do 2 heads. So just do 1 in here, 1 in the bedroom. But it's wide open. So that's going to be a bedroom. Absolutely have 1 in there. People are going to shut their door. And I would just do a big 18,000 BTU unit in here in the kitchen, maybe right here.
You can add the 2 mini splits and you can also keep the electric baseboard heat because you got panel that does get cold in that front. They could have the options to add on.
So what we were paying for 3 heads was with the line sets and everything was like right around $3,000
per unit. What do the others rent as they sit right now?
It's 7.
So like, do you think if we, because like, I'm already gonna update the kitchen. I mean, could I get 1,100?
I think you'd be closer to the grand mark.
Okay.
I think when you get over that grand mark in the 1-bedroom space,
So I get 1,000 for our 1 beds in price in the incline. I feel like Covington's nicer than well, probably has a nicer reputation than Price Hill. You know what
I don't disagree. I mean, you don't have the views that you have.
Yeah.
Here you got over there, so you're paying for a view. I mean, I'm getting ready to test the market with my 1-bedrooms now.
What are you putting it up for?
I'm doing 900 plus utility buildbacks.
Why don't you do 1095? I mean, let's see where we end up.
Well, if the first we're gonna put the first one up any day.
Yeah.
If the first one goes super quick, then I will
Yeah.
push that up.
Okay. Because I mean, for me, it's like I have this habit of sometimes over improving too much. But then it's like, this is like my favorite thing to see when I walk in a house is a hole in the ceiling and water leaking through. Because I'm like, cool, like I can add value. Like this is exactly what I want to buy. But I also need to have that balance of spending too much money and then taking too long to get it back. But if they're renting now for 700 as they sit and I can push it to 1,000, like the bigger the mess, the better the thing.
I think the thing I would also focus on in the back is, if I were to keep it, what I did over there was I would add parking. You got the space.
Yeah.
You're off the alleyway. So I think you add some parking. That's a huge plus.
What's their rules for parking? Like, can I pour a gravel pad or is there a concrete pad? Or you can go a certain limit without having to do drainage. So I just need to push that limit and make a pad as big as I can.
I mean, ideally, you want to get at least 4 cars, right? You got
Yeah.
1-bedroom units, and you can give each spot 1 car off the street, and then an overflow on the street. That would be a huge improvement, not only for the city getting 4 cars off the street, but as if you come home and you're paying $1,000 plus for a 1-bedroom, you probably have a nice car.
Yeah.
And you'd like to be able to pull off the street.
So then this is just the entrance for that, obviously that unit up there. I mean, and this right here could be a spot where we stack laundry too. All right. Can we go look in the back here real quick? Siding looks good. It's got regular gutters, which are really nice to have. I don't know how we put parking back here. Or, I mean, if we did it, I mean, if we can do it actually right here, it'd be perfect. So I know in Cincinnati, the biggest pad that we can make is holds 3 cars. And it might be different in Covington, so I just have to double check. So I could just do 2 pads right here, or just do 3 pads and ask for forgiveness on the other one. We'll see.
Crazy how they designed it back in the day. They're having the water run room little.
That is super cool, isn't it?
If I was you in Covington, I'd be charging for my spots.
Yeah, I probably would charge for spots, like $40 a month.
If you didn't have one for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, all this is easy to get cleaned up. You figure for the concrete, we'll pay $10 a foot that's for takeout and put back down, but it's about $3 grand for a 300 square foot pad right there. It's just these old houses, man. It's like I love them. I want to buy them all. They just take a lot of work and a lot of money. So I really need to get in the rest of the units, and I need to run some really solid numbers on this unit inside here just to see what we end up with in old crappy houses.
Crappy, I say character and distinguished.
Old crappy.
So Caddy across the street, if you want to go see, I'll show you. I own 1546.
Okay.
I just put a lot of money into it. And we're getting ready to now start moving tenants in, but we made it all high end as Caddy Corner.
Can we walk there?
Yes.
Let's go look at it.
So one of the things that we did in these smaller bedrooms is we put barn doors because a swing door open takes up too much space.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, I love it. Like, it's always nice seeing that. How big are they?
The 2.7 cubic foot all-in-one washer and dryer.
How much? No, how much are they?
They're about anywhere from $800 to $1,000, depending on what brand you buy.
Yeah.
But they wash and they dry. They're good for apartments.
Is this one yours? Is this building yours? Nice. I like you put the nicer blinds in.
The chintzier ones tear up too quick.
Yeah.
This is a cheap. When you get in these smaller spaces, you don't have a pool. You don't have the workout room. So you do what can you do as an inexpensive upgrade?
Yeah.
And this is not only an expensive upgrade for the tenant, but it also, I don't want to change it out.
Yeah. This is nice too. Like you could have just went with a door base, but you went with a drawer base.
So there's no space.
Which is more expensive, but it's just like a nicer. Yeah, it's just a nicer little touch.
I tell you what, on these older buildings,
Yeah.
it will save you so much money to put the panel inside the unit because tenants don't know they don't know. And if they're going to go out and around and down to the creepy basement
Yeah.
that looks like there was like a movie from Friday the 13th film down there to flip a breaker, they don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I don't blame them.
Yeah.
So when the breaker flips, instead of spending $150 to send your maintenance guy down there to go there at 7 Saturday night at 1 o'clock, they can do it right here.
I started as part of my maintenance protocol. Whenever somebody says like thermostat doesn't work or a light doesn't work or whatever, we'll send them a series of YouTube videos to say, do this first, check your battery, like we'll troubleshoot it. And then if we have to, we'll send somebody.
And on our website, the tenant toolbox. This was a little smaller. There's still a traditional one did it, but this
Look at that.
this balcony.
Yeah.
So we'll get a little popper balcony.
Yeah.
But it's a nice feature to have. Someone wants like a little, hang out here. Heck yeah.
Is this hiding like a structural beam? Like, and did you wrap it as an accent or do you just do this because it looks cool?
We opened up the area. Okay, it was a load. We engineered it up because it was a little load here, and we wanted to make sure this is an engineered all up.
Nice. Yeah, it's easy. And then you can just stain this, paint it or whatever.
Well, that's still we're in the punch outs.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, trust me.
I hate these lights. I took them out of my unit. They don't really flush to the ceiling, and they fill up with gnats and mosquitoes and bugs and everything else. They're already something in there. I hate these ones. I love them for a while.
Whatever. They look cool.
They look cool.
I was gonna say I like this with the bottom. I liked the glow.
So I go in a unit and things will bother me and then it'll rent and then I will be gone. Yeah, I'll be gone and I'll forget about it and I'll come back like 2 years later. I'm like, oh my God, this drives me crazy. But then I'm like, I didn't even think about it once for 24 months. Like, why does it even bother me? Why does it even matter? Jesse's awesome. Like he's one of those relationships I've had for a while and he helps me find deals with a lot of tired landlords in his network. And he doesn't want to do everything, but he knows that like I'll fix stuff up nice because he just put a bunch of money in something across the street and I'm not going to turn this into like Section 8 really, crappy housing. I'm going to fix this up to the standard of his property. So a rising tide raises all ships. And that's what we're trying to do in real estate when we're buying in neighborhoods.